Here at Empower Field at Mile High, I'm your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Stand next to our lead writer on DenverBroncos.com, Aric DiLalla. The Broncos fall to the Jaguars 34-20, and the winning streak comes to an end, as well as the home winning streak. The Broncos had a tough outing today against the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a tie game, 17-17 in the second half, but the Jags go on a run there in the second half and end up winning 34-20. I think a few things stand out. One, the third down and red zone numbers. The Denver defense came into this game #1 in the NFL in red zone and third down defense, and the Jaguars really had a lot of success in those areas this afternoon. It was a big reason why they scored 34 points. It was the most points the Broncos had allowed this year. Offensively, a couple of turnovers late as the Broncos are trying to come back. That certainly played an impact. The kicking game, Sean Payton mentioned that in his post-game press conference, both in terms of a missed field goal and also, I would say, probably the field position battle as well. So he said there were a lot of things that they were going to have to do to win this game, and they didn't really accomplish those when you look at the third down, the red zone, the kicking game, the turnovers. So as Bo Nix put it, they let some things catch up to them. There were some missed tackles on defense. Offensively, weren't able to a couple times punch the ball in the end zone for touchdowns instead of field goals. So it's a learning experience. But yeah, on this night, as Sean Payton said, the Jaguars were better in all three phases than the Broncos.
You look at how this team has been able to bounce back from wins, have been able to bounce back from losses this season. They tend to kind of have that short memory. That kind of helps them in this instance as they're on the short week. But what was the message to the team that Sean Payton had?
Yeah, I think he said, kind of like you just put it there, they've done a good job after wins of putting this behind them, and now they got to do the exact same thing after a loss. It's been 3 months since they went through a loss. They've got to find a way to rebound from it quickly, to learn from it. First of all, you can't just put it behind you. You've got to learn from it. Sean Payton said that repeatedly, that you got to watch the tape. Alex Singleton mentioned that the guys on defense will be in there tomorrow watching the tape together, making sure, and that's as players, not with coaches, just as players taking accountability and watching and seeing what they can do better. But you got to learn from this one. And again, whether it's the third downs in the red zone, or whether it's the missed tackles, or whether offensively it's penalties, or finding a way to convert in the red zone, those are all things that they've got to find a way to clean up so that they can get on to Kansas City, get an important win, because everything's still in front of them as they move forward, but certainly have to learn from this one.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the locker room talked about the fact that they don't really want to get rid of this feeling necessarily, because those 2 losses early in the season really fueled them to not want to feel that again. So having this late in the season, Pat Surtain was asked, is this an emotional reset for them? And he mentioned that it can be, and it's something they're going to continue to focus on as they go on to the next step. But as you mentioned, everything is still in front of them. There's only 2 games left, but a lot to get done.
Yeah, and you know, in this league, you play close games a lot. You play against good teams. This was another contender that the Broncos welcomed in, and today they didn't get it done. But as Bo Nix said, better to have this happen now than in the first round of the playoffs. So sounds like something they can learn from. Like you mentioned, everything's still ahead of them. If they win their next 2 games, the Broncos will win the AFC West. They'll be the #1 seed in the AFC, get the bye. So everything is right there, and it all starts Thursday against Kansas City. Got to go in there and take care of business.
Well, like you said, it all starts in Kansas City and Broncos country. We will get you ready for that this week. Well, once again, I'm your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Thanks to our lead writer on DenverBroncos.com, Aric DiLalla.